Good afternoon, all. Uh, Myself, Dharmishta, welcomes you all for the second session. In second session is conducted by Dr. Bhavesh Gohil, sir, about understanding the process of review. So, without any delay, let me hand over the session to Dr. Bhavesh Gohil, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Sir, your screen is visible. You can start the presentation.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank RNG PIT Institute and for the workshop, the seminar being organized through GUJCOST. And the seminar is like roadmap to write technical research paper. So I would like to thank Dr. Latesh Chaudhary sir, Dr. Madhvi Madam, Dharmishta Madam for organizing such a good seminar of writing research articles, right? And specifically, we are associated with the academic institutes, research institutes. So definitely, this will, anyhow help us. So let me, start the presentation. One second. Am my screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so the title of the today's talk under this seminar is understanding the paper review process. Now we all know that the paper review is a very important aspect, and two things are there: reviewing process and writing a review paper. Both are different things, right? So we will understand both the way how to write a review paper, how to read the paper, then what to extract, what to take from reading the papers, right? What to note down, how to prepare a review paper. So that things we will see. So we will go through this, outline, purpose, definition, process of paper review, how to read a paper, types of review, selection of online literature review databases, and some tools or softwares. So what is the purpose of a review? Why we need to review it? So first of all, we need to understand that we need to, place each work in the context of its contribution to understand the research problem being studied. So most of the time, like if we do masters or PhD or whatever we want to do, we need to understand the particular problem need to be studied. Otherwise, if we randomly start looking into the problem statement, that may not give us a clear idea or may not give us a clear research direction whether we are putting the efforts in this correct direction or not. So that's why it is very important to have a review of and that particular topic or in domain. Second purpose is to describe the relationship of each work to the others under the considerations. So that is also important, like whatever I will do, how much it is related, at what extent it is related to the work already done, right? That is also important and will give us a clear idea, clear vision about our future work. Identify the new ways to interpret the prior research. So that is, we can see that if we see some of the, some say 10 papers we identify, most of the time we see last 3 years or 5 years paper, and then we come to know about some novel way, new way to, interpret prior to our own research. So that is also how it is important. It reveals any gaps that exist in the literatures. That is nothing but the research gaps, research directions, and for that it is very very important to do a review of some papers on the particular topic. Then resolve the conflicts amongst seemingly contradictory previous studies. That is one of the aspects. We say that there is a no kind of work going on or done in this particular field, but somehow it helps us. Doing a review will help us to resolve the conflicts among the seemingly contradictory previous studies. Identifying the areas of prior scholarship to prevent the duplication of efforts. It will save us our time, efforts, everything. Point the way in fulfilling a need for additional research, right? It gives us new direction to do some additional research. It gives hints to do some additional research. It may not be sufficient, so we need to do some extra efforts. Locate your own research within the context of existing literature. So these are nothing but the purposes of doing the literature review, literature survey. Now, what exactly the literature review is? A literature review is nothing but a study of existing published information on a specific topic or a domain. Other way we can say it is nothing but a description of the literature relevant to a particular field or a topic. So that is called the literature review. Now, literature reviews should identify the key information relevant to a topic. So whatever literature review we do, that should identify the key information on a particular topic. It assesses the status or a quality of existing research, critically examine support for alternative theories or arguments. It evaluates the research methods used in previous studies. So these are all related to the literature review, and literature review should fulfill all these aspects. It generally aims to resolve the definitional ambiguities and outline the scope of the topic, provide an integrated, synthesized overview of the current state of knowledge, identify inconsistencies in prior results and potential explanations, for example, moderators, mediators, measures, approaches, etc. Evaluate existing methodological approaches and unique insights, develop conceptual framework to reconcile and extend the past research, and describe research insight, existing gaps, and future research directions. So the last line is again important, to describe the research insight, existing gaps, and future research directions. For that we need to do a literature review, and literature review is the aiming for that only. Now, before we move ahead, we need to understand the three key standards, right, in the literature review. So, literature review needs to achieve three key standards. So that is nothing but the first one is research domain needs to be well suited for a review paper. Sometimes, we pick up a research domain that may not be suited for a review paper. So the sufficient body of the past research exists to make the integration and synthesis valuable. Right, so that is kind of required. Second is review paper must be well executed with an appropriate literature collection and analysis techniques, sufficient breadth and depth of literature coverage. Number of papers are required, and again in the depth. So both are required. Like that is one of the key standard to have a literature review. Third standard is nothing but it must offer significant new insight. So sometimes we only, if I work in the particular domain, say machine learning in say healthcare kind of domain. So if I review only the machine learning techniques, like whoever have applied or used these machine learning techniques for, say kind of cancer detection or some, some disease detection in plants, in human, in animals. So whatever are there, we just not need to only highlights or listing out these particular findings, but it is very important to have a new insights out of whatever that is not exist, new findings, our own findings based on its systematic comparison of multiple studies rather than a simply a book report, right, kind of describing the past research. Now this, the third one is the most critical standard and most difficult as well, because to achieve it, it requires some non-obvious connections and insights from multiple studies, and there are many different aspects like method, context, measures, algorithm, whatever we use. So that is required to be studied, examined thoroughly, and then one can able to tell about it. So after the review portion of the paper is is completed, the author must spend more months, I can say more days, to identify the connection, to uncover incremental insights. Each of it takes time to detail and explicate. So now, what is the process? How we, do a literature review? So, literature review is a process. Like after, so the first thing is selecting a topic. Like so, this is called the literature review model. So, we need to first select the topic, and that is somehow clear. We have a topic. Say, I want to do research in security. I want to do research in data mining or machine learning or in medical science, right? Or in say a kind of arts or in commerce, wherever I want to do. After selecting the topic, what we need to do? We need to develop a tools of argumentations. We need to specify and develop a tools of argumentations. And that will, organize and forms a search the literature. That will give us some idea. Like where we exactly we can, search, where exactly we can find, where exactly we can look for this particular topic. So that is nothing but becomes our search, and it will explore and catalogs the survey. It will give us a lot of documentation, articles, papers, right? And which will be surveyed, which will be analyzed, which will be have a critique the literature in that way we need to do. And then it will from provoke us to write the reviews about the particular topic. So we'll see it in another way. We can thought of this process as a search, record, evaluate and analyze and synthesize approach. That means we need to define a topic or a research question. Then second topic is to search a relevant databases where I can find out. Most of the time we use search engines like Google, and then Bing, Yahoo, and then we search in this particular search engine. But over here we need not to search over that. That may not give the exact articles, exact papers, exact information, but we need to search into the academic databases, journals, and many more. So the second point is searching once our topic and domain is finalized. Third is a document references found applicable to topic in a citation manager or similar. So that is nothing but evaluate. So that we have to see. We need to see how many papers have citations to this particular paper, how many are following this or included as a reference into their papers. So we need to find out the similar papers in this particular reference. That is called the evaluate. Then we have to organize the references into a subtopics. Some of the topics may be for design, some of the topics may be implementation. So the domain is same, but some of our review, some of our result oriented, some of our only critics, some of our kind of analysis. So that kind of analysis is required to organize the references into the subtopics. Then the document results through a summary of the state of research discovered via the steps above. That is called the synthesized phase. And then finally we publish the results that is required. So out of this is nothing but a one process of literature review. We need a topic, we need to look for this topic into the database or academic search engines. Then we need to kind of evaluate the particular evaluate and analyze the particular references or papers. Then we have to synthesize again, merge all together and then publish our results. So next is how to read a paper. We at the second step we come to know about list of papers or list of articles. Then what to do? So there is a one there is a one article, that is how to read a paper by S. Keshav from this David Cheriton School, University of Waterloo. He has mentioned this well-defined process of reading the paper. So it is basically we need to read the papers in this three pass approach, right, for literature review. Whenever we want to write a literature review, we should read the papers in this way, right? Sometimes what happens, we read one complete paper and then second paper, it takes a lot of time. And then, when we read, 40-50 pages, meanwhile, some other papers would have been included that we also need to read. So that may not be the good idea or good way to, read the papers and particularly write the review paper. So this three pass approach, that is what I like most, that we should follow, and that definitely will give us, or will helpful us to write a review paper in good way. So the first pass is nothing but a quick scan, right? Quickly we need to go through the paper like a bird's eye view, right? And you need to decide whether this is required to be more pass or not. We need to again read it or not, right? So this pass should take about 5 to 10 minutes. In that 5 10 minutes we have to complete the entire paper. But what we have to do, we have to carefully read the title, abstract, and introduction. Why? The title gives us the broad idea what the paper is about. Then abstract, if we refer a very good standard paper, then abstract will give us the problem statement and the solution, how they have overcome the particular problem. So we'll come to know whether it is relevant to me or not. And then introduction, just to understand it in somehow depth, right? Read the section and subsections headings, but ignore everything else, and read the conclusions. In conclusion is important to understand what exactly has been solved, or what exactly has been achieved in this particular paper, and somehow future work also that we can also read. And so that's, and also glance over the references, go through the references, see the the publications, the quality of the papers they have used for the references, the publication years, and mentally ticking off the ones you are already read. So these are the notes we have to do at the end of first pass. We just note down these things. So at the end of first pass, you should be able to answer the following 5 C's. One is category, context, correctness, contributions, and clarity. Category means what type of paper is this? A measurement paper, analysis of existing system, description of research prototype, review, what? Then context. Context means which other papers is it related to, which theoretical basis were used to analyze the problem. That is nothing but the context. In which context this has been written. Then correctness. Do the assumptions appear to be valid? Sometimes authors make some assumption, and based on that the entire paper is written and published. But whether that assumption is practical or not, it's all virtual, or through simulator it has been done. Sometimes we need to verify whether it is valid or not. Then contributions. What are the paper's main contributions? That we can find out, right? And from, you can say, conclusion, or from, say, in abstract, somehow we can find out. Or there may be a separate section, the contributions, or the main contributions to this paper, that we can find out. And the clarity, is the paper well written or not? So after this, the second phase start. The second pass is nothing but, if you conclude that the first pass was good enough, I may need to again go in deep. It may be useful, it may be helpful to me. Again, go to the second pass. Read the paper with a greater care, but ignore details like such as proofs. We need to go in that way. It helps to jot down the key points or make the comments in the margins as you read. So we have to note down this. Look carefully at the figures, diagrams, and other illustrations in the paper. Pay a special attention to the graphs. Are the axes properly labeled? Are the results shown with the error bars so that the conclusions are statistically significant or not? Common mistakes like these will separate the rust or shoddy work from the truly excellent. Remember to mark relevant unread references for further reading. This is a good way to learn more about the background of the paper. So this is, we will again go through this second pass, that is, see the figures, diagrams, some other, explanation. Specifically, we need to see the graph, because the graph tells, number of things about the results, about the claims, about, some analysis. So that is in figure, maybe some proposed work, or, some flow, so some chart. So that are very important, and then from that we can come to know the kind of paper it is, or whether this will be helpful to us or not. We can also find out some mistakes, whether it is there or not, or it's just only baseless kind of results are mentioned, so that we can come to know. After this pass, you should be able to grasp the content of the paper, what exactly the paper is about. So you should be able to summarize the main thrust of the paper with supporting evidences to someone else. So this level of detail is appropriate for a paper in which you are interested, but does not lie in your research specialty, right? And then after that, the key to the third pass is to attempt to virtually re-implement the paper. That is making the same assumptions as the authors and recreate the work in our mind. So by comparing this recreation with the actual paper, you can easily identify not only the paper's innovation, but also its hidden failings and assumptions. So for that, you also need to, assume in that way, and you have to, you can also tell about, instead of this could be the proposed model or proposed algorithm or proposed, kind of mechanisms. So this pass requires great attention to details. You should identify and challenge every assumption in every statement. You should think about how you yourself would present a particular idea. So that is important. We should give this particular solution in our own way after this assumptions and consideration of the authors that has taken into this particular paper. This comparison of the actual with the virtual lends a sharp insight into the proof and presentation techniques in the paper, and you can very likely add this to your repertoire of tools. So during this pass, you should also jot down the idea of future work. This pass can take about 4 to 5 hours for beginners and about an hour for an experienced reader. It depends on, if you are new to the domain, if you have not, read the papers in the particular domain, we may take time, right, to understand the strategy, principles. Lot of aspects are there. At the end of this pass, you should be able to reconstruct the entire structure of the paper from memory, as well as be able to identify with strong and weak points. In particular, you should be able to pinpoint implicit assumptions, missing citation to relevant work, and potential issues with experimental or analytical techniques. So this is kind of techniques we can use. First pass, it's a bird's eye view. You note down these things. If it is relevant, then go to the second pass where you see the major things, right? Figures, diagrams, flow, etc. And again, if it is required, go to the third pass where you have to think in the author's, directions. How what kind of, the assumptions or existing, analysis authors have taken. You also think in this direction, and you can also note down the things. Then and then we will come to know about the loopholes or some kind of missing points or research gaps in this particular paper, right? So this is important. Whenever we read any paper, we need to identify what exactly is missing, what exactly is good or bad, or where exactly is lacking, whether they have taken referenced, they have referred a latest papers or not. So these are the things we need to note down, because we need to write a review paper. And the review paper, we have to read the all the papers in this way to identify and challenge every assumption in this way. Now the next topic is nothing but the types of reviews. There are different types of reviews there, based on the context, based on the domains, based on the requirement. So first is the argumentative review that examines the literature selectively in order to support or refute an argument. Deeply embedded assumptions or philosophical problem already established in the literature. Right? The purpose is to develop a body of literature that establishes a contrarian viewpoint. So some kind of argument discussion is there, and some author say this one, this author say this is the correct, this is not correct, based on definitely some assumptions they have taken. So based on that, they are making some arguments. We can have kind of a review of all the arguments. That is called the argumentative review. Second type of review is nothing but an integrative review. That is considered a form of research that reviews, critiques, and synthesizes a representative literature on a topic in an integrated way, such that a new framework and perspectives on the topics are generated. The body of literature includes all the studies that address related or identical hypotheses or research problems. See, that is important. It is integrative, so it needs to address all these things. A well done integrative review meets the same standard as primary research in regard to clarity, rigor, and applications. So this is the most common form of review in the social sciences. Next is historical review. Historical review is done by many researchers. By the term we can say, by looking up to we can say the period of time since beginning. Most of the time we do the review like this. We see this is, say for example, I'm working in say cloud computing and machine learning in a cloud computing. So I will find out who started using machine learning, which algorithm have been used. So we will note down paper by paper. So it is nothing but focuses on examining the research throughout a period of time, starting with the first time an issue, concept, theory, phenomena emerge, and then tracing its evolution within the scholarship of a discipline. So the purpose is to place a research in a historical context to show the familiarity with the state of the art development and to identify the likely direction for this future research. That is majorly used and widely used. Next is methodological review. It is a review does not always focus on what someone said. That means nothing but the findings, but how they came about the saying, what they say. That is called the method of analysis. So this approach helps highlight ethical issues which you should be aware of and consider as you go through your own study. Here, how is important instead of what. If I say this particular, artificial intelligence technique is more powerful, but basis on what? How exactly it is performed, or how it has been, declared. It is called the methodological review. So based on the methodology used by the authors, we can comment because of so and so reason, this is good or not. Then systematic review. So this form consists of an overview of existing evidence pertinent to a clearly formulated research questions, which uses a pre-specified and standardized method to identify and critically appraise a relevant research and to collect, report, and analyze the data from studies that are included in the review. Typically, it focuses on a very specific empirical questions, like to what extent does A contribute to B? So it is called the systematic review. At the end, in the conclusion, we can find out, say this particular approach or technique has outperformed, right? But at what extent? Results are improved. So at what extent? So that is called the systematic review. We can say whenever we review 5 techniques or 10 techniques or 10 algorithms, we need to say this algorithm is 5% or 10% or some at this extent good or not, or contributing to this at this amount. So this is called the systematic approach. So for that we need to have a existing evidence, right, to clearly formulate these research questions, right? Then theoretical review. So the purpose of this is to examine the corpus of lot of articles, right, regarding the issue, concept, theory, phenomena. It helps to establish what theories already exist, relationship between those theories, and what degree the existing theories have been investigated to develop new hypotheses to be tested. So this form is often used to help establish a lack of appropriate theories or reveal that the current theories are not appropriate, not adequate for explaining the new or emerging research problem. So these are the types of reviews. Most of the time, we don't go for the argumentative or integrative. We most of the time see the historical, methodological, systematic, and theoretical review, right? Based on our requirements, based on some future requirement, we go with this kind of review. Now see, over the internet we find out this type of sources, right? Some is called the scholarly sources. So scholarly sources are very important to us. Some are some popular sources, that is intended for a general audience of readers. They are typically written to entertain, inform, or persuade. Like popular sources helps to answer who, what, when, where. Normally we search into the our search engine, who has invented, when invented, right, where exactly this is. So these are called the popular sources. And trade publications. So whatever the sources provide this information, it is called the popular sources. Whatever the sources provide this kind of research, in-depth research, and it contains specialized vocabulary and extensive references to the sources, that is called the scholarly sources. And others are trade publications. So it is intended to share the general news, trends, opinions among the practitioners in a certain industry or professionals, right? So that is a trade publications. So these are the three different sources of articles. Now, so if you remember this process, define a topic, research question, search a relevant database. Now, how to search or where to search? So this particular figure says mainly these three are very important domain: Google Scholar, Web of Science, and disciplinary databases. So disciplinary databases, so this Google Scholar is a generic, Web of Science is related to most of the sciences domains, and disciplinary database are nothing but the different databases that we need to see. Depending on our domain, depending on our field, we need to identify the different databases. So here I have instead of noted down the things, I have provided the hyperlinks that we need to see. First of all, we will see the search engines. What are the academic search engines? So I will tell you regarding the academic search engines. You see, so this is the Paperwhile is a very good site where you can find out a lot of things regarding research, writing, and related resources. So these are the top listed academic search engines. Normal search engines provides mix of the results, and this is the academic search engine. So over here, Google Scholar is in the top because it accommodates a lot of data and documents, and it indexes a lot of such documents into the search engines. So this is nothing but kind of uh, about the Google Scholar, and we know that if you go to the scholars.google.com, we will have a it see this. So over here we can find out, say for example, if I write machine learning based on say machine learning techniques, right, in data, say for example in healthcare. So this Google Scholar, we need to understand its features first. So in this Google Scholar, see, I can have my personalized library where I can add my own research papers, my profile I can build up. Then over here we need to see, I can since 2021. So the indexing will be 2021 onwards, whatever are the latest.
Sir, sorry to
Here,
interrupt. Can you
yes,
zoom out the screen?
sorry.
Can you zoom the screen, sir, so it will be visible?
Is it not visible?
Sir, it is visible, but can you zoom it so that it will be more visible
Okay,
to the
okay,
participant?
okay, got
Yes,
it,
sir.
got it, got it. Yes, yes, yes. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So over here, see this particular article is taken from the ResearchGate. ResearchGate is also a kind of academic database from where this particular complete article has been taken. So most of the time, the Google Scholar go through the article and note down some meta keywords, and based on that, so these are the meta keywords: machine learning techniques and healthcare. So it searches based on these keywords, and most of the time the title of the paper, abstract, and keyword section is there in our paper, if you remember. So these keywords are taken by this kind of search engines to be indexed in their particular search engines. And over here this is nothing but we can save this particular into our library. We can save this resultant article. If you want to use this particular article, and if you want to cite, then I can cite this. So these are the different citation mechanisms: MLA, APA, Chicago, Harvard, Vancouver. So whatever you want to use, say most of the time we use American psychological association articles, Then this is MLA is there, Chicago, IEEE is there. So depending on your requirement, you can take, you can copy, and then you can use these tools. BibTeX is there, EndNote is there, RefMan is there, RefWorks is there. So these are the tools. Say BibTeX is related to the LaTeX. If you are using LaTeX, you can directly copy and paste into the BibTeX, and you can take it into the LaTeX. So this is how we can take the use of this particular feature of the Google Scholar. Then we can also search the patents related to the topic. If it is there, then we can also find it out over here. Then we can also find out how many have cited this particular article. So cited by 22. So these are the 22, those who have cited this particular article, right? Then these are the three different versions where exactly it has been there. So in different databases it is available, so that we can find out over here. Again, if you want to do advanced search, that is very important. The advanced search we need to use to find out the most relevant article of our query. So with all the words, with the exact phrase, if I am only interested for the machine learning and healthcare, so I can use these only three words, exact phrase I can write over here. If at least one of the words, if at least healthcare or machine learning related, without the words, then where my words occur, anywhere in the article or in the title. If I'm looking for only the papers with this title, then I have to select this one. Then written articles authored by, if I'm looking for a particular article of a particular author, I can write down, but we have to remember the particular the names of the authors. So whoever author follows whatever the citation mechanisms, say surname and the name first, so that we have to see. Then written the article published in, if I'm looking the articles published in 2021, dated between 2000 or whatever the period we are looking for. So these are nothing but the advanced search in the scholar.google.com. Then this is also important to create the alert. Now this alert is somehow if I can say I want to this is nothing but a in title. In title this should come, machine learning techniques and in healthcare. So whenever a new article will come or the Google Scholar will index according to this, it will give us it will send me the alert into the particular email ID, right? And we can create the alerts. So in future, if I missed out, like if I'm working in the particular domain, if I don't see whether any new article has come up or not, then I can create this kind of alerts. It will give us or send us an email regarding this new article in the particular indexing. So this is about the Google Index. Then if we see, wait, so another search engine is nothing but Microsoft Academic. So that is somehow relevant to the Google Scholar. The main thing is it is having nowadays less articles compared to the Google Scholar. And here if you see the features, abstract, only a snippet of the abstract is available, related article is there, reference is there, cited by is there, links to the full text is available, and exporting is available on this particular citations. Similarly, Microsoft provide limited number of citations format and other things are there. So this is a kind of interface of Microsoft Academic that we can also use. Then there is a base by Bielefeld University, Germany, and that's how the name is there, base. So it is again having a less number of articles and some some of are using this particular search engines. Sometimes related to their university's article, they may find out from the base search engines. Yeah. Then there is a core academic search engines dedicated to open source search papers. So mainly it is open search papers, open access papers are available over here, and abstracts they provide, related articles is there, and we can directly take the citations of LaTeX over here. And there is the next is the science.gov. It is basically some government agencies work is there. So it is free access to the search users from more than 15 such agencies are there, US agencies. No need there is no need anymore to query all those resources separately. So we can find out related to this. Then there is a semantic scholar. So these kind of search academic, these are called the academic search engines that we can use first of all. Then there is a Baidu Scholar is there. So similarly you can find out, right? After that, so the first step is we can find out the relevant papers related to our topic into these academic search engines. Then this is nothing but Google Scholar guideline, how to search, that is given over here. So we can just I explained about it. We can use this Google Scholar and advanced. We can also use to improve, these are some tips to improve your search results, better search results. We can see this guideline as like Google searches are not case sensitive. Use the keywords instead of full sentences. Like this will give us a very relevant articles according to our title. Use the quota quotes to search for an exact match, like a double quotes. If you use to get the article published in a particular year, use the sidebar control to adjust your search results, like 100 search result, 200 search result in a particular page. This is also important. Use a Boolean operator to better control your searches, like and, not, or. And requires, like we want to look for both the words or phrases, right, in either side or somewhere in the record. Not means without this particular word or sentence, and or is either this one or that one, whatever is there in the article, that is to be listed over here. So that is about some tips. Then some more tips are available over here that we can see and we need to use for better results. One second. So see, that I told you about Google Advanced Search, that we can go and we can set up like this. So over here, the types of advanced search, we can use the wildcard characters, star, question mark. Star means if I know it should start from wild, say machine learning, and machine learning in every field, then I can use wildcard star. So to add a word to the wildcard for the variant versions, right? Environment, environmental. So I can use only environment and star. So other things, whatever is suffix to environment, will also be included in our search. Then double quotes for particularly retrieve the exact match, or then exclude. Exclude, use the hyphen to remove the particular results that include the search term. Say web, then if I write spiders, so instead of spiders, it will search about the web. Then in title, I can use this particular word in title. So that will find out the results wherever there is a penicillin in the title of the article. Right? Publication, whoever is the public, retrieve the item from a specific publication. If I write Springer, IEEE, SEM, so that I can use the word publication and colon, and then I can write like this. Then site, search only a specific types of site for domain. Say .edu, .org, right? .in. So we know that if it is from only if I want to look government articles, I can use right gov.in or US or whatever governments we are looking for. So that we can also specifically tell, so that it will save us our time and will give us the relevant the articles. Then the date range, as I told you. So these are nothing but lot of hints are given over here, so that we can use. Then if we see, so very first, after topic is decided, we need to go for these academic search engines. Then if it is not sufficient, or if we think we need to again go in deep, and if I do not find relevant articles, lot of articles, then I can go with the academic databases. So there are many academic databases based on the domain. The academic databases can be used. So ProcQuest, EB, SEO, Ovid, Web of Science, IEEE, Scopus, Dimensions, Archive, etc. So if you see this wiki page, then you will find out the list of academic databases and search engines. So let me zoom in over here. You see this, there are hundreds of academic databases are available. You can find out the name of database over here, and it's the description. is a monthly indexing service established in 98 by this one, and it's a multidisciplinary, right? And the size is not mentioned, but the description is, several versions. It's complete, elite, premier, and alumni, and it is subscription based, that we can also see over here. And the provider is EBSCO Publishing. Come down, if we see over here, say for example, if you go to this Sightseer X. So Sightseer free one. The green one are free one. Sightseer X is a multidisciplinary, and these are the number of records or articles. Right now, it has replaced Sightseer and ChemX here, mainly for computer science, statistics, and mathematics. And it is owned by the Pennsylvania State University. Like for civil engineering database, it's there. It is also free. So likewise, if you see, there are lots of DBLP is there. You must be aware about DBLP. It's for computer science bibliography website, right? These are the number of articles, comprehensive list of papers from major computer science conferences and journals, and it's a free. And Leibniz Center of Informatics and University of Trier, right, are owning this particular database. Then if you see, Google Scholar is also one of the database. It is a multidisciplinary, and if you sort all the databases according to the size, then you will come to know the Google Scholar is having the largest database, like, and lots, you can say, the highest number of articles they have indexed in this particular database, and it is the biggest academic database and search engine, over 390 million records, and unofficially estimate. So it is also a free, and Google provides it. The next is a minor. It is for computer science. Then base is there, as we talked about it. It's a multidisciplinary, right? The 260 million records are there. It is again free. Microsoft Academic, right? Connecting, there's a Go that we also discussed. Then Semantic Scholar, Web of Science is there. So Web of Science is basically for it also having other products like SCI, SCI, expanded zoological record, biological abstract, but it is subscription based and owned by the Clarity Analytics. So this is cross reference, dimensions. Mendeley is there. Mendeley is widely used. It's again multidisciplinary, and over 100 million documents are there. It is owned by the Elsevier, and it is free as well as subscription. Some of are free, some of are in the subscription base. Scopus is there, JGate, Science Open. Then for medical science, it's a PubMed is there, right? It is free, and Medline is there, Medline is there. So you can find out your articles related to your topic in out of these all academic databases, right? Then if we see the details about those academic databases, the Scopus, you can have scopus.com, and it is having these many records. It is multidisciplinary. It is provided by Elsewhere, Web of Science, right? PubMed, ERIC is there, IEEE is there, Science Direct, right? Then DOAJ is there. So this is about brief about all, particularly for computer science. The SEM digital library is there. SEM, if we go through this SEM survey is for survey kind of articles. If you want to find out, then the impact factor is good. Normally the impact factor near to the 10 is considered to be the excellent one. So this is basically, we can refer for survey kind of papers, research and literature review kind of papers we can find out, right? We can see this, they have been publishing since 1969 to 2021. These are the nothing but the count, citation count, available for download, and these are the number of downloads in this week or year or 6 weeks, whatever is there. So likewise, go to next one, citation management. Now there is a one tool available, online web-based tool available, that is called the Citation Builder, right? So that we can use If you don't want to write down the citation by your own way, we can use this. These are the citations format available. APA is there, MLA, CSE, Chicago, and all. So over here, if I write down, say, my name, author name, and then last name is there, right? I'm author, and the title is, say, for example, machine learning based, say, for example, healthcare system. Then publisher is, say, Springer. Just I'm writing randomly. Say Mumbai, the conference was conducted in 2021. URL we need to give, right? www dot whatever the URL is there, right? Then date accessed, DOI, document object identified, right? And then if you see over here, one second, we need to set the citation style over here. If say APA is there, then according to that, it will generate a one string according to the APA, right? So over here we can copy and then we can paste it to our document, right? So this is somehow can be useful if you want to, not write down in this way, but if you want. Now there are some citation management softwares are there. So if you see, the softwares are basically, let me tell you one example. So these are the citation managers like Zotero, Mendeley, EndNotes. So citation management tools allows you to download the citations and articles from various websites and databases, and electronically store and organize the citation, annotate and highlight the articles, and format the citations of your paper and bibliography. So that we can use. Say, for example, let me tell you about Mendeley over here. So over here, if let me sign in first. Even in Google Scholar, we had seen we can save it. We can directly take the citations of that paper. Say machine learning. Okay. There's some problem here. Wait. So there is a desktop version as well as web-based versions are available. So that we can use. We can also install and we can use that particularly the Mendeley software. Yeah. So over here, say, let me sign in. So related to COVID-19, say for example, you see this particular, we can have the similar options like Google Scholar. We can find out most cited one related to COVID-19, like clinical characteristics of coronavirus disease 2019 in China. Now, if we go into that, right over here, we can add this one into our particular, library. It is open access, and if you go to the citations, one second. Wait. Let me have a desktop option. It will take time. But yes, so mainly if we see, wait. So these are the nothing but, so we can, use such tools to download the citations. As I explained you through Google Scholar, we can copy and paste, we can download articles from various websites and databases, electronically store and organize the citations, annotate and highlight. So these are the, this Zotero is nothing but the extension. So these are both are free, and we can use it over here. Say for example, if we see Zotero extension plugins, right? Plugins for Chrome. Then we can edit and then we can use it. Add to Chrome. Let me see. So now, so one more is unpayable is there. That is a sometimes used to bypass our firewall, and we can use it. So let me now search over here. Say for example, machine learning. Okay. First, go to it. Say for example over here. Yeah. So now it requires desktop also. Okay. So now let it move ahead. Wait a second. So you need to download its desktop version as well, and then you can use it. Then this is regarding comparison, right? Zotero is there, Mendeley is there. Then this is the comparison you can find out. Similarly, if we see this one, so see regarding the citations, we can use such softwares to manage the citations, to note down the citations and to bookmark the citations so that we can use it in our literature paper, right? This is another 1 second, this is not that, this one I think. So this is comparison is there over here. 1 second. So if we see, these are the citation manager softwares. Say EndNote is there, Mendeley is there, RefWorks is there, Zotero is there, like BibTeX is there. So what is there? It is storage is unlimited. This is the reference, the comparison of the different citation managers. Mendeley is there. They give 2 GB of free and then pay for the remaining one. RefWorks is there unlimited. Zotero 300 MB is given. Requires software download. So EndNote say yes. Mendeley, Zotero say yes. RefWorks does not require. Works with the Chromebooks is the specifically notebook is there. Works with tablets, so yes. Then sync across the multiple devices, yes. So that's why it is useful. Require internet to access the server, no. The RefWorks say yes because it does not provide this software to be downloaded. Then sharing all collaborations, connect with the Microsoft Word. So that is how it is useful. Connect with the Google Docs, right? Then keep access after the we can keep access after the graduations. Then import an entire folder of PDFs, automatically import PDFs, annotate or highlight PDFs, export annotations, accessible or not. So these are the the benefits of using this particular. Here it's not working anyhow due to some problem, but you can see, you can note down this and you can use it for, for the citation management for your paper. Now, how to draft a review paper? So that is important. Now, we know that we have started with, topic. We looked into the academic search engines. We looked into the academic databases. Then we gathered all the documents. We also learn how to read the papers, first page, second page, third page. Then we know about, these tools and techniques. Now, how to draft a review paper? It is just like the most academic papers. Literature reviews also contains these three basic elements like introduction, body, and conclusion or recommendations. Now, these are the minimum things required. Like we can add more number of, the kind of headings as well, right, into the review paper. So introduction gives a quick idea of the topic of the literature review, such as the central theme or organizational pattern. Then body contains your discussion of sources and is organized either chronologically, thematical, or methodological, as we discuss about the type of review, right? So then conclusion or recommendation discuss what you have drawn from the reviewing literature so far. Where might the discussion proceed? So typical ways of organizing the sources into the reviews, like chronological. So as I told you, like we can find out and organize the sources into this chronological way, publications wise, by trend, by thematic way, by methodological way. So sometimes, say, for example, I can give you, say, in computer science, say, intrusion detection system, right? In for any system. So in intrusion detection system, we can have, by layer of the particular system, say application layer, operating system layer, or say hardware layer. So layer wise, we can organize the kind of, methods, or we can say by publication year. So say starting from the, since it has been started or emerged, we can note down the type of, the kind of intrusion detection system introduced, or we can say by the publications, we can say from this particular publisher, these are the methods, or like this, or say by trend, say AI based or deep learning based, whatever, right? Or say kind of we can say heuristic, or say meta heuristic, whatever. Then thematic base, a particular, kind of analysis we use as a theme. Then so these are the different ways we can organize the sources, but these three, parts are required in our literature review paper: introduction, body, and conclusion. And the conclusion discuss about what we have drawn from this particular literature so far. So some mistakes we have to avoid while we write the literature review, like writing and stylistic issues. So using emotional, we should not use like emotional phrases. We should use, whatever is the actual finding we have seen into the papers, right? And we should not write that as far as our concern, this is good or this is bad. This is kind of emotional phrases. Like we think this is, more good, or this is a, perfect techniques, or outstanding technique or efficient technique, without any references or proof. We should not tell such a statements. Then these are the mistakes: giving the personal opinions in a literature review. No, we should avoid it. Then sometimes, we should not we do not cite the references properly. We do not write, we sometimes write the first name and then last name, and then we do not follow the, kind of structure of the citations or particular style of citation, or we mix up the citation styles, right? We sometimes use follow IEEE, sometimes follow American, sometimes follow, Harvard mechanisms. So that is also a mistakes. And so reviewers see these kind of mistakes: inserting a long URL. Sometimes if we want to insert a URL and we write down the complete URL, instead of that, we can, insert the author's name and the articles, the kind of database name and the publication year. We can use such things instead of, providing the entire URL. Then issues with the literature review structure. So no background or definition. If we find, then it is not good. We should provide the definition. We should provide the introduction, right? Then sometimes bad structure, right, into the of the paper, or relevant content, etc. So that is again, a kind of mistakes we should avoid. Then credibility or validity issues is sometimes, narrowly focused review. We we do not cover the complete the aspect, but we narrowly focus on the review. Say for example, only few techniques related to the small kind of concern. So that is not good way. We should focus broad idea, we could focus broad concept, right, for the review aspect, using the direct quotation instead of a critical thinking. We sometimes if this particular author is state that the technique outperform the existing techniques, we simply write down this thing. This is not allowed. We should have our own critical thinking and our own writing. If they say the particular algorithm is out, or particular algorithm has outperformed this, but based on what context, based on what analysis or results analysis they are saying, that we need to see, and then we need to quote in our review paper. We should not say simply like whatever has been proclaimed by the particular authors in the particular paper, citing only the supportive sources. That is also not good. Sometimes we only cite the only few references, not all the references. We need to cite as much references as possible, right? Not only the supportive references. So that is sometimes we should remember these things when we write a review paper. Then we also need to stay up to date. Like as I told you about the Google Scholar alerts, we can use it so that we need to we remain updated about the research in a particular domain. Then we receive a notification or alerts. Then there is a the other things are mainly research network is there. ResearchGate is a very good platform where we get connected with the other research of similar domain or similar interest. We can have a group, we can have connections, we can have a question answer, and other things are there in ResearchGate. You might be familiar about it. So at the end we can say, so what to do. The overall summary of this particular talk is, first use the academic search engine such as Google Scholar or CiteSeer or Microsoft Academic, and some well chosen keywords you need to enter, and to find 3 to 5 recent papers in this area. Then do one pass on each paper, whatever you have accumulated, to get the sense of the work, and then read their related work sections. That is important. We need to read the related sections. You will find a thumbnail summary of the recent work, right? And perhaps if you are lucky, a pointer to a recent survey paper also. So recent survey paper is also good for kick off this particular survey. So if you can find such a survey, you are done. Read the survey, congratulating yourself on your good work. Otherwise, in the second step, find the shared citations, right, and repeated author names in the bibliography. So these are the key papers and researchers in this area. So that how we can find out the similar names are coming, right? Say for example, in the particular domain, one author are having a lot of paper and doing a lot of research in the particular domain. So these are nothing but the key papers and key researchers in this area. Download the key papers and set them aside. Then go to the websites for the key researchers and see where they have published recently, in which particular publishing kind of database they have published. So that will help you to identify the top conferences in that field, because the best researchers usually publish into the top conferences. So this is again a way to say one author is good in my domain. So what I'll do, I'll go to his personal web page or his Google Scholar page, and I will see from 2021 onwards how many papers he has published. Then I will see the relevant that publishers, and then I will find out more number of papers. The third step is to go to the website for these top conferences and look through their recent proceedings. Quick scan will usually identify the recent high quality related work. This paper, along with the ones we set aside, constitute the first version of your survey, and make 2 pass through these papers, and so on. So if they all are cite a key paper that you did not find earlier, obtain it again and read it and reiterate the things as necessary. So this is how we can find out the papers related to our domain, right? And we can have most relevant document of our domain, and then we can go onwards. So these are the tips on doing the literature review. So let me open it over here. There are 2 links I have noted down here. See, uh, exactly literature review, we should ask some questions. So this is nothing but directly taken from this website. What is the specific thesis, problem, or research question that my literature review has to define? Right? What type of literature review am I conducting? Am I looking at the issues of theory, methodology, or policy? Quantitative research, right? That is called, or a qualitative research, which particular research I am interested. So over qualitative means study, and over here the effectiveness of a new procedure, that is for the quantitative research. What is the scope of my literature review? What type of publications am I using, like journals, books, government documents, popular media? What discipline am I working in? Nursing, psychology, sociology, engineering, medicine, whatever. How good was my information seeking? Has my search been wide enough to ensure I have found all the relevant material? Has it been narrow enough to exclude the relevant material? So that is also we need to understand. If you want to exclude some material, we need to narrow down the research. Is the number of sources I have used appropriate for the length of paper? Have I critically analyzed the literature? Right? Have I cited and discussed studies contrary to my perspective? Will the reader find my literature review relevant, appropriate, and useful? And also ask these questions. Right? Has the author formulated a problem or issue? So whatever article we read, we have to ask these questions to ourselves only. Is it clearly defined? Is its significance, like scope, severity, and relevance, clearly established? Could the problem have been approached more effectively from another perspective? What is the author's research orientations, theoretical framework, relationship between the theoretical and research, and so on? So likewise, there are many questions we need to ask to have a good review at the end. And the second tips, that is, 1 second. See, this is nothing but same thing related to that. But over here we can do literature, right? We can say over here. One more thing I would like to show you is one more thing. Let me see. Literature review. Where is it? There was a one good link I would like to share with you. I don't see over here. It is there. Okay, so that's it. Now let me take questions, and if I'll be happy to answer. I'll try my best to answer your questions.
Thank you, sir. It's very informative session. You have shown the various tips and various resources for the review process, as well as how to write the review paper. And you have also shown the various academic resources through which we can search for the research paper. So thank you very much. Let us start the question answer session. The first question is, what is about data statistics? How we can collect it from trade online sources?
So that question, what about the data and statistics? I can collect it from the trade online sources. So see, I can answer in these questions like the data and statistics, that we have to see individual papers and we have to read what kind of the database they have referred, whether it is openly available or not, or it has been the data and statistics generated by themselves, and if they have kept private, then may not be available. So the online resources, some of the some of the repositories are there. From there we can find out the data and statistics, but these academic databases are not listing out these particular sources for data and statistics. So for that we need to go and read the individual paper where they have used and from where they have found. So that will help us to find out this data and statistics.
Thank you, sir. The next query is how to increase the citation and H index and I-10 index score.
Yeah, so for increasing the citations, we need to first of all be careful to keep our title short and sweet, which can be easily searched and come into the top, so that the future researchers or features the writers, authors use our papers and cite our papers. Not only that, see the title of the paper, the abstract keywords, and then the content is definitely important. So to increase the citations, these things are very important. The relevance of the topic is very much required, right? If the paper is more generic, if we write, say for example, a review paper, most of the time review paper is been referred by most of the authors before going into the any research base or result base or whatever they use, whatever they write. So whatever the paper we write, that has to be covering most of the aspect of that domain, right? And we need to consider these things, considering the title, keywords, abstract, according to the targeted domain. Then it will increase the citations. And H index and I-10 index are in the same line. If it increase, if we have a similar number of papers whose index is, say for example, 444, so the H index will be 4, and if cross 10, then such papers will be come into the I-10 index, right? So for that, definitely we need to focus on the first question, that is how we can increase the citations. So it is, Google search is different thing. To get our paper into the first page of indexing is a different thing, and if it comes into the first page, then definitely there will be a chances of getting our paper to be cited by the other researchers will be increased.
Yeah, absolutely right, sir. Let us have the other query. Yeah, how
Yes.
to, okay, that we have already seen. Okay. Next query is, does an unusually quick peer review indicate rejection?
Does an unusually quick peer review indicate? So in that way, peer review means from the editor's side, I think. So quick peer review. So that is, there is a standard process. Whatever is the publishers. If we see, say for example, I can say you just go through the say SEM computing survey. So they have listed down their methodologies and steps how they evaluate the paper. So before we submit our paper into the any of the journal, we need to see their the set of policies or steps of reviewing peer review process. So from that we will come to know how exactly they peer review this paper, and accordingly we need to. So I need not to say, but it will increase the chance of getting accepted if we refer the particular journals, editors papers, or particular journals other papers. Say for example Springer, so or say ACM. So if I use ACM references, right, then definitely it will increase the chance of acceptance. So it is very important that where we want to submit, who are the editors, we need to go through the editors. Then if the editors are working in the same domain, we should try to refer the papers of those editors. Then we should also try to refer the papers of that journal, right? If it is a SEM computing survey, so it's good if I refer the papers of SEM computing survey. That will increase their citation score, and there may be possibility of consideration. So we need to see the peer reviews process of each journal. That may be different, right? So there is a one pass, two pass, three pass, and sometimes it's a blindly review. We need to remove our author's name, we need to simply submit, right? So these are different processes followed. So we need to see the first process of the particular journal or publication, and then we have to format our paper in that way.
Yes, sir. Next query is how to increase H index of your own Google Scholar profile.
So this is the same thing. Like we have to. Sometimes we can also refer our paper. Whenever we write a paper, we need to cite our own paper, right? And in that way, it will increase our profile. So that is one. Or if we write more, review papers, generic review papers that can be used by most of the researchers in that domain, then in that way it will improve the H index. Or the H index, to increase the H index, we need to have more number of papers having the citation similar in the number. So if we have a, say for example, 5 papers having more than 5 citations, then H index will be increased. So this is in that way we have to have the similar number of citations in more number of papers will increase the H index.
So next query is which tool is best to maintain the references or citations?
So the latex is there. We should use latex. There is a no need of maintaining citations references. It will be automatically maintained. So we need to use latex, or else we need to use this Zotero or Mendeley, right, to maintain the citations of our paper.
So next query is which thing we follow for SCI paper?
So for SCI paper, we need to see, you know, the particular journal. We need to go and see the particular journal. We need to, so there is a, if we, let me see over here. First of all, we need to see the domain, right? It's fine. I will communicate in this way. So first of all, we need to. So in Web of Science, if you see, you can find out, even in ResearchGate, we can find out the relevance of paper to the particular journal. So first of all, we need to submit a paper to the journal which is a more relevant, right, to my paper. If it is not relevant, then definitely they will not accept. That is the first thing. Second thing is, for the SCI paper, we need to see the particular journal, acceptance rate. What is the acceptance rate of this particular journal? If it is very less, then definitely there will be a less chances of getting accepted. Definitely the SCI, to publish a paper in SCI, it takes lot of time, right? It takes in months. So some, if it is paid, then definitely it will be a somehow quicker than the unpaid one. But otherwise, it takes lot of time to get it published. So for SCI papers, we need to first of all match with the the domain of the particular journal. So that is the very first requirement. Then we have to see the who are the good researchers in this particular field. Have we referred the papers of those researchers or not? Have we referred the, so our reference list is very important. We have to refer good papers, right, to prepare our article or to prepare our paper. So these are the, we can say, techniques we need to use. And also we need to see the journals guidelines, tips, how to get it accepted. So most of the journals provide kind of tips to easily get accepted the paper. We have to follow this particular guideline. There's an there's no thumb rule to follow for get it published in SCI, but these are the heuristics we need to do to get it published in SCI, or we can say in very good journal.
And so the last question is how to synchronize the article database on different PCs on Mendeley desktop application. It shows variation when we log into different PCs, how to avoid it. I think it is very specific question to Mendeley.
So Mendeley is cloud-based system. So definitely we need to. I have not done this kind of settings, but definitely there is a provision of kind of synchronizing this our database, our libraries, whatever is particular to a user. So whenever we log into the desktop, we want to synchronize. We need to be connected with the internet. Then and then it will be synchronized. right? So it is definitely based on the cloud, as I explained you in the comparison, right? So they where is it? So they provide 2 GB of free, right, storage, so we can use it, and then we can we need to see the setting. I have not done so. For that, I'm sorry for giving the answer at the moment. Any other questions?
No, sir. So we will end our session here. Thank you very much, Bhavesh sir, for providing this useful information as well as for showing the multiple resources live to our participants. Thank you, sir. And we have received very good reviews that it is a very good session. So thank you very much, sir. So all the participants are requested to join for the third session sharp at 2:40. So we will meet at 2:40. So thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, all of you. Take care.